Ladies and gentlemen, it is that time of the year again. It's kind of now a tradition on my channel that at the end of every single season, I do my top 5 best and my top 5 worst drivers of the season. So in this video, I'm going to be doing my top 5 best drivers of 2021, and in the next video, that's going to be the spicy one, my top 5 worst. So stay tuned for that, but of course, don't forget, and I have to say this every single time, this is just my opinion, and everyone is going to judge drivers a little bit differently in terms of what qualifies them to be a better driver than someone else, or what qualifies them to be a worse driver. So again, this is just my opinion. Don't get too mad, but actually let me know your top 5 in the comments box below. I can't wait to see what you all have to say. But yes, enough rambling. Let's get into my top 5 drivers of 2021. Now, in terms of number 5, I will let you guys into a little bit of a secret because I always knew that I was going to do this video, and as the season has progressed, I've actually already had this list and kind of rolling over the course of the season, so it has been changing from race to race. Some drivers have gone up, some drivers have gone down, so yeah, it's something that I've been tracking over the course of 2021, and when it comes to the top 4 drivers, I am very comfortable with them, but that 5th spot, let me tell you, it was unbelievably close, and it is actually between 3 drivers, so one of them is going to be in 5th, and the other 2 I do still want to give an honorable mention to. Now, in terms of who those 3 drivers are, it is between Pierre Gasly, Fernando Alonso, and Charles Leclerc. Now, in terms of which of the drivers just edged out the other 2, I am going to go with, in 5th place, Fernando Alonso. Now, really quickly, in terms of Pierre Gasly, he has been incredible all season long. He's had a great car, and he's really led the team with some phenomenal qualifying performances, and of course, that standout podium in Baku. As far as Charles Leclerc, I mean, he has also been really good. Nice to see him kind of backfighting a little bit further up the top after Ferrari's really poor season last year. Unbelievably, he had 6 4th place finishes, 6 of them, so he was super close. He did get a little bit unlucky, but at the same time, he did also make a few mistakes there and there, and again, both of them do deserve to be on this list, but they just miss out. So yes, in 5th place is Fernando Alonso. Now, as I'm going to be going through this list, actually, I'll also have on the screen a few of the stats, actually, in terms of what the drivers achieved in terms of wins, podiums, and also a little bit how they compared to their teammate as well. Now, in terms of Fernando Alonso, not everything, in my opinion, comes down to stats. I think a lot of it has to come down to context as well, in terms of the car that they're given, where they are, like what situation they're in, and how difficult their teammate is as well. And when it comes to Fernando Alonso, the reason why he just edged both Leclerc and Gasly, in my opinion, and it was by a whisker, by the way, is that I think the context going into this season, Fernando, I do think that he was actually under the most pressure in terms of if you compare it to Leclerc and Gasly, because there was a lot of negativity and there was a lot of criticism, and rightly so, to be fair. You know, 2 years out of the sport, I think a lot of people kind of questioned why Fernando Alonso and why Renault at the time, kind of, you know, as they were becoming Alpine, why they would take Fernando Alonso. So even going into the season, there were so many questions. Could he still do it? What is he going to be like after 2 years out of the sport? And what a season he has had. Don't get me wrong, it has not been plain sailing. It has been a great return, but the first kind of 5 races, kind of just before Azerbaijan, it did take him just a few races to kind of get almost acclimatized to the team, the brand new cars, his teammate, and also just Formula 1 itself, because F1 has changed a lot, even in the 2 years that Fernando Alonso has been out of F1, but I think Azerbaijan was almost kind of, everything kind of clicked after that. And in terms of his point scoring, it has been ridiculous. He has scored points in 14 of the 22 races in 2021. That is just incredible. So many kind of highlight performances from his 4th place in Hungary, that incredible defense against Lewis Hamilton. I mean, that was just some incredible racecraft, and that's kind of when we knew, you know, the old man has still got it. That was a big highlight. I think the likes of Russia and Zandvoort, kind of races that maybe people don't talk about as much, but those were really good performances where maybe he could have been a little bit more lucky. And then, of course, that incredible performance in Qatar as well, where he got his podium for the first one in 7 years. So yeah, that was kind of nuts as well. And even Qatar, that was such a great race. I mean, he qualified well, he started well, and he deserved that podium. Yes, luck obviously played a part, but whenever the midfield guys get a podium, luck is always going to come into it. And I feel like it's just been such a good comeback season. It'll be interesting to see whether he'll kind of, you know, start to drop off in 2022, or whether he'll build on it and get even better. But either way, Fernando Alonso has had a brilliant 2021, a really good and solid comeback, and in my opinion, he thoroughly deserves to be the 5th best driver of 2021. Next up in 4th, I have got Lando Norris. what a season he has had. Easily his kind of career season at the moment. And something that I actually mentioned obviously earlier in the video is that this list has been a rolling list throughout 2021. Drivers have gone up, drivers have gone down. And let me tell you that midway through the season, after Hungary and before Belgium, which is obviously when the summer break was, Lando Norris was actually at the front. He was my number one, the best driver of 2021, in my opinion, midway through 2021. And again, I want to remind everyone that at that point, after Hungary, he was still third in the drivers' standings. That is insane. He was ahead of Bottas and he was ahead of Perez in a McLaren, and yeah, what a crazy start to the season that he had. Now, don't get me wrong, of course, the points kind of dropped off a little bit in the second half of the season, but to be honest, I don't think his performances did, and that's two different things, by the way, his performances and his points, because you know, he did get very unlucky, quite a lot actually, in terms of like punctures, even in the final race in Abu Dhabi, and of course in Qatar as well, when he was on for a really good result. So again, I don't think it was for a lack of trying or because he kind of fell off a little bit. I think it was just down to luck, and also Ferrari really kind of came on strong in the second half of the season as well. So yes, maybe he didn't score as many points. Yes, he did not hold off to kind of get that best of the rest spot, but that does not take away from the fact that he, of course, almost got his first ever win. He also got 4 podiums over the course of 2021. He has been incredible. He has been phenomenal. This really has been a career-defining season, because coming into 2021, there was perhaps a few questions. You know, could Lando lead the team himself? Could he be that number one driver that Carlos Sainz was? Especially with someone like Daniel Ricciardo coming in, and he absolutely did. He stepped up to the task. He showed that he is a future world champion. He put his name in that conversation, and again, he is now the leader of McLaren. He is their number one driver, and it's Daniel Ricciardo's job to kind of do a bit of catching up. But yeah, what a season by Lando. Again, 4 podiums, almost his first ever win in Russia. We know it's coming anyway. Regardless, that performance was just amazing in of itself, but that does not take away from the incredible season that he has had. And yes, in 4th place is Lando Norris. We're into the top 3, and in 3rd place, I have got Carlos Sainz. Now, wow, what a phenomenal season he had. What an unbelievable debut in his first ever season for Ferrari. Now, there was a lot of pressure on his shoulders coming into the season, because after Sebastian Vettel, after it kind of did not work out with Seb and Ferrari in 2020, there was such a bad, negative feeling about the team. There was a lot of jokes toward Matteo Binotto, and just a lot of jokes towards Ferrari themselves. There was a lot of negativity from the fans, and what Carlos Sainz has done to come into the team, just stabilize the team, bring back the positive feeling, is unbelievable. That is what a good driver does, and I've said actually this in the past a few videos ago, but I do have a dedicated Ferrari and Carlos Sainz video in the works over the winter break, so I'm not going to talk too much about kind of what he's done to kind of galvanize Ferrari, because it's been pretty obvious. He has been ridiculously good. But in terms of this season in 2021, with the pressure of having Charles Leclerc as your teammate, and with the pressure of being a Ferrari driver, he has been incredible. Now, do not get me wrong, I actually think that in terms of raw pace, and I'm talking just, you know, 1 lap pace, he has not been quicker than Charles Leclerc. There's no doubt about it. Charles is the quicker driver, but Carlos Sainz, through his experience, through his Formula 1 IQ, and his unbelievable consistency, that is why he has finished best of the rest in his first ever season for Ferrari, and ahead of Charles Leclerc. I mean, just to kind of talk about his consistency, because what do I really mean by that? Carlos Sainz has scored points on more occasions than anyone else in 2021. Even in Abu Dhabi, he is on the longest point scoring streak on the entire grid, and that's what it's all about. It's consistency. He is always there in the points. He just stays out of trouble whenever he can. Don't get me wrong, it hasn't been a perfect ride. Sometimes he has struggled with the car. There's been a few incidents and a few crashes, but I mean, I think we forget that that Ferrari is still not an easy car to drive. It's an evolution of 2020, and of course, Charles Leclerc, he's a lot more used to it because he's been at the team for a few years, but it has been a little bit tricky at times for kind of, you know, Carlos Sainz. But he's always been able to overtake some incredible performances. That comeback drive in Turkey, that's the one that I really kind of remember. I know it's not a podium, but yeah, what a drive that was. And again, the smooth operator to beat Charles Leclerc in your first ever season for Ferrari. Yes, I know Charles got unlucky, but still, he's been phenomenal, man. And again, to me, now it's not a question. Carlos Sainz is championship caliber, no doubt about it. And yeah, Leclerc Sainz, that is a very spicy combination for Ferrari going forward. If they are given a championship capable car in 2022, I mean, who wins the championship between these two? I don't know. Let me know in the comments below, but undoubtedly and thoroughly deserved, in third place is the smooth operator himself, Carlos Sainz. Well, just two to go, and I'm sure you can guess which two drivers are going to be battling it out yet again for the first and second spot. But in second place, I have got Sir Lewis Hamilton. Now, I must actually be honest because, of course, this is, we've now seen the Abu Dhabi title decider, the controversial finish, but I will be brutally honest, even if Lewis Hamilton did win the title, I still would have had him second in terms of the best drivers of 2021. Bit of a clue there in terms of who's first, but we'll get to him in just a minute. Now, in terms of Lewis Hamilton, I think we have to remember the massively high bar that he has set, kind of especially over the course of the last kind of 5 or 6 or 7 years. Having said that, he has still been phenomenal in 2021 because the way he rebounded and kind of picked up his team, especially after, the 2021 rule changes kind of really hurt the Mercedes team, and the way he picked them up and carried them on his shoulder to win, of course, the Constructors' title and just miss out on the Drivers' title. Again, I look back at some of his performances, Brazil was just superb, and really those last 4 races, I mean, he could have won the last 4 races on the bounce, and of course that would have won him the driver's title as well. He just missed out by 1 lap, obviously, that controversial finish in Abu Dhabi, but yeah, the finish that he had to the season, the way he gathered the team around him, and really was the leader yet again, taking it to Red Bull and taking it to Max Verstappen after they put up a brilliant challenge, and finally we had a title challenge between the two kind of best teams in Formula 1 in terms of Red Bull and Mercedes. And yeah, again, Lewis was incredible this season, there's no doubt about it, but looking at his unbelievably lofty standards, just a few little mistakes there and there, in my opinion, put him just a tiny bit lower in second place. In my opinion, there is no shame in Lewis losing the 2021 driver's title. He has still been absolutely amazing to watch. He's been box office. I mean, the likes of Brazil, that I still go back to that race. What a weekend as a whole that was. But again, I don't think it's been his strongest season in terms of qualifying, and I don't think that, those just few little mistakes throughout the season that have been peppered throughout the season, it's just that kind of brings him down just a little bit. But either way, he has been incredible, and yeah, I mean, to see him lose out on the title on the final lap of the final race in that kind of manner, it was hard to watch, but nevertheless, he has still been just amazing throughout 2021. And yes, in second place, I have got Sir Lewis Hamilton. Well, no surprises for who is my number 1, my best driver of 2021, Max Verstappen. Now, to be honest, all of the controversy aside, I think we kind of need to just take that out of the equation, because when you look at the rest of the season, even the other 21 races, Max Verstappen has been nothing short of sensational. Apart from the 4 races where he was involved, in some incidents, whether they were his fault or not, or whether they were down to just, bad luck, he has finished 1-2 in every single race apart from 4. That is just ridiculous. He's never finished 3rd on the podium throughout the entire season. And when you look at his consistency, and actually when you look at his bad days, not his great wins, not his great moments, but on days where the car just wasn't there, where Mercedes had a bit of an advantage, he was always up there on the podium. He was always up there right behind Lewis in second place, and always picking up the points, and the really big points, on days when the win was not on the table. I think it's more than fair to say that this has been a long time coming. I think Max has honestly been a championship caliber driver for quite a few years now, and he's just waited to finally get a championship capable car. And with the first season that he's been given it, he ends up winning the title in absolutely dramatic fashion. Don't get me wrong, the way he's won it, and also the style of driving, his overtaking, his aggressiveness, it's been controversial. It's been box office to watch. Yes, it's been over the line on some occasions, in my opinion, but that's what you get with Max Verstappen, kind of his aggressive style and his mantra. It has kind of, it's won him races on certain occasions, but it's also lost him maybe a few points and maybe a few races on other occasions as well. That's what you get with Max. That is the Verstappen show. So whatever you want to say about Max, and I know that a lot of people, including me, are not happy with the way in which he won the title, which, by the way, is nothing to do with him. That was purely down to the FIA. But, whatever you want to say about Abu Dhabi, when you look at the entire season, Max he's been close to flawless, except for a few races where you could say that maybe he was over-aggressive, which might have cost him a few points. I still think that he was a deserved world champion, and again, in my opinion, he is my 2021 driver of the season. Well, there you have it. That is this video wrapped up of my top 5 best drivers in 2021. Do not forget, my next video is going to be my top 5 worst drivers from this season. So yeah, definitely look forward to that one. It is going to be very spicy, no doubt. Now, if you did disagree with some of my picks, then let me know your top 5 in the comments box below and little reasons as well as to why you chose those drivers. Anyway, I hope you did enjoy this video, and if you did, then don't forget to drop it a like and also smash that subscribe button if you're looking forward to all of the amazing content that I have planned over the winter break. Anyway, I will see you in the next one.